As a train enthusiast who lives in England, when I recently went to China, I was blown away by the standards of their transit systems. I mean, just look at a singular photo and the difference is obvious. However, I would like to explore exactly what makes these metro systems so futuristic and practical, and what European and worldwide transit systems can learn from them. Mostly the London Underground, as it is the only one that I'm really familiar with. List item number 1, safety. This will probably be quite a shock to most of you watching, but legally every train station in China will have to do a security check. Now this is nowhere near as thorough as airports in other countries or around the world. However, you will have to put your bags through a scanner and go through a walk-through scanner yourself. Banned items are pretty obvious, such as sharp objects, such as knives, and flammable substances, such as deodorant. This would be, in my opinion at least, a great idea to install into the Western transit systems, as more crimes than you think occur every day on the London Underground. Between January and August 2024, 16,288 crimes were reported on the London Underground system as a whole, which is like a massive number. Increasing security and legal action would go a long way in preventing this. List item number 2, cleanliness. A second thing that I noticed in China is how clean all their metro stations and trains are. There were literally cleaners running onto the train, mopping what they could and disembarking again before the doors closed. Some simple design changes also make this easier. For example, the floor of the trains is not carpet. If anyone has a carpet in their house, they would probably know by now carpets are not the easiest to clean. And the seats are also made of metal, which sounds really uncomfortable. But it actually wasn't. I think it might have been because of the shape of the seat. But still, the metal makes it much easier to wipe as it's a smoother surface. Another big plus side was that none of the trains had graffiti on them. Imagine the London Underground with no graffiti, that's just impossible. The first Piccadilly line train that was delivered last year already had graffiti on it before it was delivered. Think about how many cleaners you see around the London Underground. Barely any compared to in China. Every station in China had like multiple, and that's just amazing. List item number 3. Infrastructure. I mean, do I even need to explain this? Every station on the metro that I went in Wuhan was built after the year 2000. That is over 300 of them. How many stations in the London Underground were built after 2000? 4 out of 272. I'm not even joking. This is evident on how, shall I say, dirty all the stations are. It's been so many years. They are all so outdated. Don't get me started on how the Piccadilly line and Bakerloo line are still using 50-year-old trains. And as I discussed before, only the Piccadilly line has plans to replace these trains this year. Might be 5 years till the Bakerloo line trains are replaced. Don't get me wrong, the London Underground is great. But still, some simple things are missing, like air conditioning being one of them. London Underground gets hotter every year, and basically none of the stations have air conditioning. London and other networks are so lag behind on these things, like step-free accessibility, when nearly all Chinese metro stations have lifts. List item number 4, development. Okay, this is warning where I do get a bit annoyed. The London Underground gets virtually no improvements. Its most recent line was in the 1970s. The Elizabeth line is not a London Underground line, for any of you out there who are wondering. Okay, carrying on. And the last extension that was added, that had more than 2 stations, was in 1999. On the other hand, the Wuhan Metro is planned for 5 or more extensions next year alone, including 2 brand new lines. Actually, forget it. They have planned 32 lines before 2049. That is 20 new lines and 20 more than the London Underground has proposed. I must also say that this may be down to planning permission. We all know that China is the king of rapid development, because they are planning way ahead. I found official maps from the Wuhan Metro that include all 32 of these Wuhan Metro lines. Well, all that is going on in London is a possible DLR extension to Thamesmead, which only includes one singular station, a possible Bakerloo line extension, which only includes 4 stations, and it's coming out in maybe 10 years, and a possible Crossrail 2. But still, let's face it, that's never going to happen after what happened to Crossrail 1, or the Elizabeth line. So planning ahead is important. But also, you must remember that TfL is government funded. I don't really want to get into UK politics, but long story short, there is also some financial difficulty, so we can't completely blame TfL. List item number 5. Modernization. I think this is where it all boils down to, where the most important factor lies. What do you feel when you see like the London Underground, or whether you're a daily commuter, or you're just an enthusiast like me, who never rides on it? I think of an old but iconic and working metro system. But I think it is crucial to make a successful metro system. You have to make people want to ride it. London feels, shall we say, crowded and stuffy due to the lack of aircon. But China, and suddenly everything is so spacious there and clean. It is so inviting. We rode the metro there way more times than we expected, and planned to. However, I cannot blame everything on TfL. They've got a really problematic position. They've got like a really old metro system. Some of the architecture there is still from the 1800s, and it'd be a nightmare to fix. While Chinese metros such as Wuhan are so modern, and they can include modern technology such as air conditioning onto their trains and new ideas to improve cleanliness, while London still has to deal with its old system and fix what's already there. Planning ahead into the future for even more modernization is key. Like in China, many stations had longer platforms than necessary to accommodate for longer trains in the future as passenger numbers grow. Still, in the end, all metro systems are trying their best to keep up with modern standards. But that is just a few things I think that Western metro systems and metro systems all around the world could learn from Asian metros. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and check out my other videos on the channel. I hope you learned something from it, and from this video, and I hope you will watch my next.